welcome to Tales of Honor Podcast, a podcast dedicated to telling the true stories of the Congressional Medal of Honor. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tales of Honor Podcast. I'm your host, Christoph Ambrosch, and this is episode 44. I wanted to welcome everybody. Welcome back if you're tuning back in again. And if it's your first time, which I think it might be. I've been seeing a couple extra downloads recently. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is a bi-weekly podcast every Sunday and Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, telling the true tales of the Congressional Medal of Honor recipients. And tonight's episode is going to bring us back to Somalia. It's going to be the first time we've gone to Somalia, and it's being brought to you by our good friends, DesignCake Studios. They're my good friends down in Florida, and they're a small creative design company with big talent in graphic and web design. I put a small video up recently on my Instagram of my business card. Well, one of them. Just to give you an idea of what they did for me, they can do that for you too. And if you or your business need a look or maybe a new one, head on over to DesignCakeStudios.com. I've been very happy with the logo and business cards that I've received from them. And actually, I have a new stash coming in soon, a reorder, which is good. And I'm always getting compliments on my business cards, which is nice. It's always nice to get that little pat on the back. When you contact them, let them know you heard about them here on the podcast. If you do that, you'll receive a free consultation. Just a nice little thank you. DesignCake Studios. Fresh thinking made bold. And now, a tale of honor. Randall D Shughart was born on the 13th of August, 1958, in Lincoln, Nebraska. When his father left the Air Force, the family moved to Newville, Pennsylvania, a small town near Carlisle. While Randy was attending Big Spring High School, he joined the U.S. Army, and once he graduated in 1976, he went on to basic and advanced individual trainings and continued on to airborne school. In 1978, he was assigned to the 2nd Ranger Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment at Fort Lewis, Washington. Several months after being assigned to the 2nd Battalion, Randy completed a pre-Ranger course, currently known as CERT, or Small Unit Ranger Tactics, and was granted a spot to attend Ranger School. He attended and graduated, therefore earning his Ranger tab, and in June of 1980, Randy left active duty and entered the Army Reserve, only to return again to active duty in December of 1983. He then attended Special Forces training and was then assigned to Delta Force and transferred to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, in June of 1986. In 1993, Randy was deployed to Mogadishu, Somalia, in support of Task Force Ranger. During Operation Gothic Serpent, on the 3rd of October, 2 Black Hawk helicopters that were part of an assault mission were shot down in the city. The second helicopter was a search and rescue team that had been sent to secure the first helicopter. Randy, along with Gary Gordon and Brad Hollings, were in another Black Hawk, call sign Super 62, and their actions that day would not only earn Randy the Medal of Honor, but also Gary. But that is a tale for another episode. The citation reads, Sergeant First Class Shughart, United States Army, distinguished himself by actions above and beyond the call of duty on 3 October 1993 while serving as a sniper team member, United States Army Special Operations Command with Task Force Ranger in Mogadishu, Somalia. Sergeant First Class Shughart provided precision sniper fires from the lead helicopter during an assault on a building and at 2 helicopter crash sites while subjected to intense automatic weapons and rocket-propelled grenade fires. While providing critical suppressive fires at the second crash site, Sergeant First Class Shughart and his team leader learned that ground forces were not immediately available to secure the site. Sergeant First Class Shughart and his team leader unhesitatingly volunteered to be inserted to protect the 4 critically wounded personnel, despite being well aware of the growing number of enemy personnel closing in on the site. After their third request to be inserted, Sergeant First Class Shughart and his team leader received permission to perform this volunteer mission. When debris and enemy ground fires at the site caused them to abort the first attempt, Sergeant First Class Shughart and his team leader were inserted 100 meters south of the crash site. Equipped with only his sniper rifle and a pistol, Sergeant First Class Shughart and his team leader, while under intense fire from the enemy, fought their way through a dense maze of shanties and shacks to reach the critically injured crew members. Sergeant First Class Shughart pulled the pilot and the other crew members from the aircraft, establishing a perimeter which placed him and his fellow sniper in the most vulnerable position. Sergeant First Class Shughart used his long-range rifle and sidearm to kill an undetermined number of attackers while traveling the perimeter, protecting the downed crew. Sergeant First Class Shughart continued his protective fire until he depleted his ammunition and was fatally wounded. His actions saved the pilot's life. Sergeant First Class Shughart's extraordinary heroism and devotion to duty were in keeping with the highest standards of military service and reflect great credit upon himself, his unit, and the United States Army. Randy's body was recovered from the scene and brought home, and on the 23rd of May, 1994, his posthumous Medal of Honor was presented to his family in a ceremony at the White House. In 1997, the U.S. Navy named a roll-on, roll-off ship after Randy, the USNS Shughart. If this story sounds familiar, it may be because you watched the 2001 film Black Hawk Down, where Randy was portrayed by actor Johnny Strong. Randy and Gary were the first recipients since Vietnam to receive the Medal of Honor. Randall D Shughart is buried in the Westminster Cemetery in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. And that was the Tale of Honor. Thank you very much for listening to Tales of Honor podcast, and if you like it, which I know you do, it's very easy to like. I guess it's kind of hard to not like it. Be sure to leave a nice review and a rating, and tell a friend. Please, only 5-star ratings. If it's a good experience, let everybody know. If it's bad, don't worry about it. You can see more information on Facebook, Instagram, and at talesofhonorpodcast.com. If you have any questions or comments, you can send them to talesofhonorpodcast@gmail.com. And until next time, I'm Christoph Ambrosch. Thanks for listening.